Welcome, everybody. I'm Adam, and this is the Weekly Chime number 76. I'm going to cover, I wrote this down so I don't forget, basically manual follow-up with the system. So I'm going to cover how to mix the manual follow-up with Chime's automations with the smart plans, when to follow up manually, some ideas there, and basically what types of manual follow-up are we talking about, like what works well. And then last thing is going to be, does the method of manual follow-up really matter that much? So I'm going to start this off by saying, like, I love Chime automations with smart plans and stuff. That's what I'm most known for. But one really effective method is for follow-up conversion to appointment setting is manual follow-up. Follow-up in general takes a lot of work. Chime smart plans help leverage that work by using the smart plan automations to send out emails and text messages and property alerts and that kind of thing, market information, instead of us manually doing that. However, this is still a very personal business, and the human interaction and the personalization of just providing great customer service is very much alive and well in real estate. I think too often we fall back on automation because we make excuses about, I'm busy doing this. I don't have time for this. I have things to do this. And the people that are really converting a lot more of their leads, even if it's like 0.5% more, 1% more, they're doing that not with automation, but with manual follow-up. So, basically how to mix this in. So you got your smart plans running. I organize my database by the basically the point at which they are on the transaction from curiosity to close. So I just use standard language: hot, warm, cold, not ready, nurture, that kind of stuff. And smart plans are running for each of those. So I'm going to talk to somebody differently that's maybe 2 months away from meeting me in person than I will somebody that's maybe a year or 2 years looking for options when they retire out of the military in 2 years, kind of a thing, right? Very, very different conversations. So a smart plan is typically more on the generic side. So this manual interaction gives it a more custom feel and makes it more personal. Right? Instead of like how many, excuse me, how many people are getting those automatic text messages about, they partner with NAR, they partner with your firm to provide, health insurance. Would you like a quote today, kind of thing, right? It's very impersonal. They're sending hundreds of those out every single day to a lot of agents that they bought off a list, right? The same thing with automated communication. People generally know they're being basically dripped on. So the ways in Chime that you can manually reach out are: you can manually email, you can manually text, you can call, kind of like a semi-automated thing. You're still manually doing something, but it's just pre-recorded, is a voicemail job through Slybroadcast. Those can kind of replace a phone call. They can be effective. They can also be ineffective. Most people will check their voicemails, but the strategy with those isn't so much that you're trying to get them to call you back. How I use those for voicemail drops is generally trying to point people to either go to the website or check their text message or check their email because I sent them something. I'm kind of using that as more of a way to direct the traffic rather than get that instant, bounce back right back to a phone call, or text me back kind of a thing. I'm steering them towards information so that I can earn their trust more, and then they can find the information that I'm giving them. So those are the ways. And there's also in the system, let me show you real quick here. In the system, there's, you go up here into settings, and then all the way down here by templates, you're going to see email, you're going to see call, which is that's the call questionnaires and scripts, and then text. So you can create, excuse me, here's your welcome text. You can create text templates for yourself. And then if you have more than one person and you have access to do this, you can create them also for the team. So these are really effective where you're going to say something more than once, and you can basically save that and use it a whole bunch of times over. I'm not going to show you. YouTube is getting really, really strict with displaying contact information. My entire channel got taken down back in March. One of these Weekly Chime ones got removed recently for it. So I'm trying not to show any contact information. But when you're on the lead page, excuse me, when you're on the lead page and you click on somebody's name, you'll see the email and text buttons up here in the left. You can click email or you can click text, and then it'll come up with there'll be a little box on the inside of that pop-up where it'll say template, and then you can pick a text template, either the team version or the agent version, and send it out that way. That's how you pick these and send it out through the system. So it's pretty easy that way. The same thing with the email stuff. Go to the email one there and do the same thing in the template. Those are super effective. Slybroadcast, when you're doing the voicemail drops, you're gonna first you have to have a calling package with Chime. You also have to sign up for Slybroadcast itself and integrate it into the system. It's super easy to do that. And you go to settings and the integration page. Once you do that, download the app on your phone and the Slybroadcast app on your phone, sign in, use your phone to record the voicemails and then label them. And then when you go to build let me show you, I think I can show you this part here. When you go into the, click on the paper airplane up here, and then when you're creating a smart plan, it has to be on the agent smart plan library for voicemail drops. So this radio button here has to be clicked. If you click here, it's not going to show up. So it'll be right down here. You can see there's no Slybroadcast. You have to be on this My Plan, and then Slybroadcast will show up as an option. Click that from the drop down here. Your caller ID to display is located here, and then these are all the different recorded voice messages that you can choose from. So you just simply pick this one, and there's your voicemail drop ready to go in a smart plan. Same thing happened when you excuse me, when you're in the people page here. I think I can get away with this much here. When you're in the people page here and you click at least one person, you can also click on Slybroadcast here and then pick the voicemail, and then those two people are going to get this message or the voicemail when I send that out. So that's a real simple way to do that. When to follow up manually. Opportunities in the system. So if you're coming from another system, probably used to like a behavior alert or behavior activity, that kind of thing. Essentially in Chime, the lead will have certain conditions or certain behaviors that they perform, like saving a listing, looking at a listing 3 times or more, requesting a showing, those kind of things, coming back to the website after a certain amount of days. I think the default's like 30 days. So any of those kind of activities, those are basically opportunities. And I like how Chime calls them opportunities, because it's an opportunity to reach out to that lead, right? So when the lead exhibits a behavior, let's say they save a property, right? That's going to come up on your dashboard as an opportunity. You want to manually follow up with them. When they like, especially if it's things to do with your website. I don't know if I cleared them out. Let me see if in mine here, if I have anybody. So the opportunities one is right up here, this little computer screen. No, so I got everything cleared out, but you're going to see them right over here listed. Yep, no opportunities there. And then you can basically see who is on your site. Saving properties, looking at properties a bunch, that kind of thing. When people are like that, that's a showing that's Chime showing you the people that are interacting with your system in real time. That's when you want to make your calls. That's when you want to send out a manual text if you have time. If you got hopefully you're using the Chime mobile app, you're going to get those push notifications on there as well. And excuse me, you can use your phone to through the app to dial out and call the lead. The other time that you want to is, again, based on the timing of where they are in the process. And I'm mostly talking here about like leads or prospects, people that you haven't met yet in person and you haven't set an appointment yet to meet with them in person. Like clients and stuff, like you should already know when you need to, manually follow up with them. That should be 100% manual follow up at that point. But as far as leads and prospects go, or people that you think they're interested in real estate, you found out they're interested in real estate, and now you're trying to, nurture them to earn their trust and get them an appointment with you in person to, hire you. Be careful about like the timing, right? Like, somebody that's a year out, don't call them every day. Don't call them every week. Space it out every couple of months, right? If somebody's ready in say like a month, or they say, yeah, we just need to get pre-approved and then we're going to be ready to look hopefully in a week or two. You might want to call them, text them, check in with the status a little more frequently than that. Usually I like a reminder set for somebody that's like a hot lead. For me, that's like a 30-day lead. I like to interact with them manually about once a week. That's kind of a general rule. I do, some people if they want every 5 days, cool. Just kind of make a note of that. One thing I like to use is the groups here. So I have people here that are expired, which is good because I can show you what happens. So you see this blue, you hover over the group and you see this reminder here. You can click on this button and then you set the number of days that you want the timer set for. And then that'll adjust here. So this here 70 plus lead score. I've got my reminder set for 5 days. So every 5 days, anybody that's in this group that I didn't manually interact with, it's going to turn red. That's like a need to touch. And these 15 people that are green, those are people that like I've already contacted them within that 5 day period. Like we're good to go. I don't need to bother it. Not that I need to ignore them. It's just reminding me that, hey, you need to manually follow up with these people. So to easily do this, you can't click on the green people. You can only click on the red people. So you hover over where your group is red, and then you see the 24 here. Click that. These are my need to touch people. And now I can go through, I can select them all, send them to the dialer, make my calls, make my 24 calls. I can send them a voicemail drop. I can do a mass email, mass text, that kind of thing. So I have a lot of options there. That's how I like to use the group reminder here. You can also create, I did this here for the webinar. You can create groups and you can name them wherever you want to, right? So I just have like, instead of getting like super into detail about, what to name groups, like sometimes just keep it simple, right? Like timing here, same thing with timing, hot, warm, cold, not ready. Daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. Okay, so reminders 1 day, reminders 7 days, 30 days, 90 days. Keep it simple. That way you don't have to figure out exactly how often do they want to be contacted? Monthly, put them in the monthly group. The reminder set, go on with life. Don't overthink it. Keep it simple. So that's a good method to use. Anything opportunity wise, anything that is appropriate to the timing of when they're going to, basically like when you're setting an appointment. Things like showing request. Okay, you're trying to book an appointment at that point, so calling them every day for a few days in a row, texting them every day, trying to get the, I saw you requested a showing for Oak Street on my website. When's a good time this week to get inside and take a look, right? Something really simple. Get on top of that lead manually and follow up that way. What types work well? Pretty much anything I went through, honestly. Text messages, phone calls, emails, voicemail drops. They all work. They all work in different ways. And you're going to find like early on, it was I think middle of last year, about this time, voicemail drops for me were super effective. Where I didn't even make phone calls most of last year because voicemail drops worked so well. This year, it's way different. This year, phone calls are more effective, like actual manual phone calls. So if you're not using the Chime Dialer, take a look at that. I think the base dialer calling package is like $15 a month, so it's pretty affordable. The accelerator package, the $49 a month one, current price, that's the one I have, and that you can create like a smart list or like a call list. So when I selected a bunch of people and send a dialer, it'll basically make a list for me. And then when I open up the dialer panel, I can just click on that list, and then there's my people, and I just start the dial. So that's super convenient. Definitely worth the extra money, especially if you're going to be using the phone system a lot. I know a lot of people like to use their phone to do the calling. I do as much as possible in Chime. That way, there's a record of it. It's all in one place. In my state, I'm a single party consent state, so I can record calls without having to go through this whole rigmarole. So everything is there, all in one system. That's my preference of how I use it. Does the method of manual follow-up really matter that much? Actually, it does. In my experience, it does. It's not one thing where it's like, okay, what's the most effective, and then pick that and do that. In your database, for your personality and your connection with your leads, this is one thing where cookie cutter solutions don't really cut it. You have to basically put the time in, put the calls in, the text in, the voicemail drops, all that stuff that you want to do, and see exactly how your database reacts. If you are, if you're looking for a lot of leads that are like the seniors, 55 plus, nursing home age kind of thing, they're selling to go to nursing. They're very mistrusting of technology in general. They prefer, let's meet for coffee kind of a thing. They're going to respond more to phone calls than like texting or emailing, just because they're just not comfortable with that stuff. So know your audience, so to speak. If you are dealing with millennials, honestly, texting is usually pretty good. Texting leads to phone calls. That's why I like having my website settings require the lead to provide a phone number. Because most people, when they have a phone number these days, it's going to be a cell number. And that gives me two methods of contact with them just with that number. Instead of a landline, I can only call them. I can't voicemail drop. I can't text them. So with a cell number, I can basically call or leave a voicemail drop. It's pretty much the same thing. Or I can text them. And I like using text messages for, how I like to say it is texting is for talking, email is for educating. So if I want to have a conversation, I'm going to text them or call them. If I'm going to send them some information that's going to educate them or provide them some sort of information that they requested, I'm going to email that. So in that instance, I do think it really matters. We get the older millennial kind of getting the boomers, but not really the older boomers. it's kind of a mix. They still prefer phone calls a lot, just because they're so used to doing that. When they were our age and younger, so they want to go with familiarity, and familiarity is kind of where everything is trusted. So yes, it does matter. It matters with who your database is, who your clients are, who your leads are. It's a generational thing. It's a timing thing. And it's a what are you sending, right? A lot of my voicemail scripts are pretty short. They're like less than 10 seconds. I don't really have anything over like 20 seconds. Like if I were to just sit here and stop talking for 20 seconds, everybody would be bored. People would drop off. It's a really long time when you're just waiting, in basically dead silence. Imagine listening to that, listening to something that you may not be open to listening to for like 30 seconds. Yeah, you're going to delete it before you even get the information. So be careful with the voicemail drops. And be careful with the timing of the voicemails, whether it's a voicemail drop that you're leaving or whether it's you actually just called them and they didn't answer. You're going to leave a voicemail. Like, just keep it short and sweet. You don't want to drone on about a bunch of stuff. You're going to lose them. So using your communication to achieve a goal is probably the best thing. Like have a reason, but make that reason make sense, right? Like, somebody looks at a property 3 times or more and I get that notification. I'm going to text them or call them. That's my reason, but what am I trying to accomplish? Just like letting them know, hey, I'm here to help. Like that's really a weak. That's not like when you have opportunities in there, it's okay to go into sales mode a little bit, where you've got someone that's active on your website. They are saving properties, creating searches, and now you reach out to them. Like, what's your goal? Like, I want to talk with you. I want to see how I can help. I'm looking to set an appointment with you. Because if you're saving properties, like, hey, you want to go take a look at it? That's the first thing that comes to mind, right? So having a reason and having more than just a purpose, having an end goal about what does that communication look like when you consider it successful, right? Don't make calls just to make calls. Don't blast out text messages just to say you did it. Do it with purpose. I think is probably some of the best advice I can give you when you are manually following up. A lot of people I know are going to be a little afraid, a little intimidated by the phone, but think about all the people that you've worked with and closed deals with. Eventually, it got to the point where you were talking to them on the phone at some point, and then you were talking to them in person. It's part of the process. I'm not a cold caller. It's just not my business model. I don't, some people are fine with it. It's just not something I'm going to do. So the calls that I have, the calls that I make, my leads are expecting that, because my smart plan communication up to that point has indicated, like, when you like something that you see on my website, go ahead and save that or favorite that. That gives me an indication that you want me to reach out to you. So they already have an idea that when you do, when you push buttons on my website, I want to be calling you, I want to be texting you. I'm going to that's how you get my attention, essentially. I think that's important to do, just to let people know as well that you're going to be doing that stuff. So that is pretty much all I have on that topic there. Are there any questions from anybody in the chat right now? Let's see. Oh, Joe's in there. Cool. Yeah, he said before, you have to set up the voicemails in Slybroadcast. They're not in the smart plans. Yes, you have to get the Slybroadcast first, record the voicemails in Slybroadcast. Then if you want to put them into a smart plan, you go to the My Smart Plans. You have to create them first. They're not in there. See, Jeremy, how do you handle cold leads that respond to emails like, do you want to continue receiving listings? They respond, yes, I want to continue. So if you have an email sent out that just says, do you want to basically ask the lead, do you want to continue receiving listings? And they say, yes, I want to continue. What I would do is I would respond back by making sure that their property search criteria is accurate. Two biggest things are the accuracy. Like, I don't want to be sending people junk homes, right? Like if somebody's looking for $300,000 to $400,000 and they're getting stuff for 150 to 200, and that's not really what they're looking for, like, I don't want to do that, right? So making sure that we're sending the information exactly that these people want, I think, is really important. And also, I want to know their frequency of how often so my default, my system for property alerts is every week. Thursday morning is how I have it set to. Most agents have their new listings in the MLS hit Thursday morning. So I want those to go out as soon as those new listings are there. That's my default when people sign up, and I haven't been able to talk with them yet. Once I get them on the phone, or I get a response, that's when I ask them what their frequency that they want these alerts are. That does two things. Number one, and make sure that they're not unsubscribing. I should say, it helps to ensure that they're not unsubscribing because I'm doing what they asked me to do. If they want it every month, cool, I'll set it up every month. Not a big deal. Also, what that does is it lets me know and lets me confirm exactly what their timeline is, right? If they tell me, oh yeah, we're just looking, but they want them sent every day, they're probably not just looking. They're probably a little bit further down the funnel to the transaction. So pay attention to that kind of stuff. Yeah, Jeremy, I would go back and respond back with basically asking them if they would, if they would basically confirm the criteria and then get the frequency. I'm a big fan of matching the method to the motivation and matching the method to what they communicated with you, right? I've got leads in my database. They absolutely will not pick up the phone, but we text more often than 16-year-old teenagers. So if they're comfortable texting, text them. If they're comfortable talking on the phone, pick up the phone. In this instance here, you had an email that went out, let's say it was a smart plan, and the email went out and they emailed back, email them then. Right? Ask, is this your preferred method of communication? Right? Get your service to match exactly what your clients and what your leads want. So if you're sending an email and you get it back, you get a response, respond with that method. Because if you email me, I'm going to email you back. If you email me, I'm not going to call you. That's just way out of left field, and it really startles people. Not in a bad way. It's like, oh, okay, well, phone's ringing, I just sent you an email kind of thing. It's just weird. So match the method that they're communicating with, and then always ask if that's their preferred method. That's what I try to do. Sometimes I screw up. There any other questions that I can help with? All right, doesn't look like it. We'll go ahead and, oh, hang on. I'm going to pop in on the question and answer thingy. How would you use manual follow-ups with an ISA team? Honestly, the same way, no different. An ISA team is mostly going to, like, their usual goal is to set appointments, qualify leads, set appointments. So if you have an ISA doing that work, and then you have people that are, on appointments, you have leads that are still interacting. There's nothing wrong with, like, just because you have an ISA or an ISA team, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you as the agent manually interacting with people, because they're never going to work. They're never going to meet the ISAs. They're going to meet with you, because they don't hire them, they hire you. So keep that in mind. Like, an ISA is nice for bulk work, for sorting, for doing those kind of things. But when it comes down to, like, there's so many hats, right? This is a relationship business. This is a sales business. This is a customer service business. Like, you're the agent that they're going to be hiring. They need to have rapport and trust you, not the ISA. So as far as that, like the ISAs can and should be doing the same stuff here that I talked about. You should be doing the same stuff as well. Like the ISA team is also part of your team. So working together and converting these leads is definitely the way to go. But yeah, I wouldn't really do anything different. It definitely gets to a point where you are at a certain stage in the process of, say like lead to prospect, where, prospect would be, in my mind, for example, would be, so yep, we're definitely going to work with you. We got to get the lender stuff figured out. We got to sell my Corvette, to get down payment money, that kind of thing, where they're like, yep, they're pretty much committed to you already. You just haven't met and started doing stuff yet. So that's like the ISAs do not need to be dealing with that. Once they get to, in my opinion, once they get to that point, agents should be on that 100%, absolutely 100%. So that is how, that's how I would do that with manual follow-ups with an ISA team. They're doing their manual stuff. You're doing your manual stuff as well. Make sure you work as a team and follow up with these leads. That's a good question, because yeah, a lot of, and that kind of proves a lot of my points about how important phone calls are to your database. There's a lot more agents that are looking for remote assistance and ISAs and ISA teams to make the calls and make the manual follow up. You're just leveraging other people's time so that you can have your time back and focus on your main objectives. So don't be afraid of the phone. So I think that's pretty much time here. So I will wrap this up. Again, this is number 76, almost at 100, a few more weeks to go. Thank you for showing up, listening, and anybody that's going to see the recording of this, thank you for checking this out. Let me know in the Facebook group if you have any questions about this that I can help with, answer maybe something a little bit more on the personal side for your unique situation in your business, and get out there and have a great day. Thanks.